This is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
Wait, are we supposed to go?
I don't know. It's an air flag.
Oh, that's
It's an air flag.
the professionally unprofessional Gone Racin here, guys. Give me what?
I knew I forgot something.
Right,
I was like all ready to go.
He's been so proud of those flags for the last couple of months since he got them. And now they're old news. He forgets about them.
Just like us, forgets about us, old news.
I mean, he's just kind
I
of got
never
to leave his
forget.
kid
I
in the
text you
back
guys
seat in
every
a car seat
Sunday.
or something.
Probably.
I
I can see that.
Hey, I text you guys every Sunday. Well, I don't forget about you guys.
Yeah, but usually there's four-letter words in those texts because Brad Keselowski's done something wrong.
Shut up. We don't want to get. No, it was Brendan thinking that we won the Michael McDowell
the McDougal
group.
bet.
Yeah.
Well, we did all think we had
Bad-
McDowell.
bad
That was
beat
the
there.
ultimate bad beat of the week.
Welcome in, everybody. Gone Racin, the show that is, of course, our favorite show on VSiN, the most professionally unprofessional. This is us. Me and Mr. Motley here in studio, both of us again. This is kind of like a record, I think, 2 weeks in a row.
No, you weren't here
Oh,
last week.
I wasn't here last
You
week.
were
That's
off at
right.
Space
I can't even
Camp
remember where I was.
watching Elon Musk set off rockets or something.
We were there. We were there. It was a great time. But we did have a race last weekend in Atlanta, and we got to start off the show talking about. You want to talk about? We've had some bad beats, all of us, right? We've had some beats that were like, oh, I can't believe that. How about this one? Group F. The guy finishes fourth. Our guy Michael McDougal cashing tickets for us, but he's in Group F. He finishes fourth. The three of us are patting ourselves on the back, texting each other, going,
I get to say, well, at least we got McDowell.
At least we got
didn't
McDowell.
Jinx him. We didn't jinx him.
That's right. We didn't jinx him. We got McDowell. And then Wyatt, the buzzkill, has to text us, 10 minutes later and goes, guys, A.J. Allmendinger finished third. He was in Group F. The guy loses Group F, finishing fourth.
We did the unthinkable. We jinxed the jinx.
We jinxed the jinx. Group F finishes fourth, and we don't win it. And all of us had him.
Yeah, and you guys had Keselowski too. And I mean, look, if he just decides I'm not going to pit there at the end and waits on the rain, he wins that race.
Well, no, he runs out of gas.
I don't think they said he had 10 laps left, the same as McDowell. I think he would have made it.
Oh. But we did have a rough day as far as it goes. It was a hell of a race. Let me tell you something, Jeff. I called you on Sunday, said, this is the definition why I'm glad I retired.
One of the best races I've ever seen.
Oh,
I
my
think
God.
Darrell Waltrip even said that. Darrell Waltrip's seen a lot of races in his time, and I wish we could have gotten those last 75 laps in.
I got goosebumps just sitting here talking about it right now. That race, Motley, was so. But the rain makes that intensity, right? I mean, the everybody knew it was coming, so that rain creates the intensity.
Yes, it does. But we saw that kind of racing in the first stage of the race.
Yes, we did.
And they thought the rain wasn't coming until the rain came sooner than they thought the rain.
Whether it happened then or 75 laps later, that intensity was there. And like I said, I got goosebumps talking about it. I looked at you and said, man, I am so glad I don't race anymore at this place. This place, unbelievable what they did. The race in there. I mean, you know how we normally talk about, hey, the Group F gives us a chance to talk about 16th, 17th, 18th, and the great battle for some guy in Group F. You couldn't watch 16th and 17th because first and second were scaring the poop out of us, blocking each other, getting sideways, and that was on lap 10.
And we're talking about Group F running third and
Running
fourth.
third and fourth. Yeah, this was a hell of a race, but we did get
And William Byron crashes. Well,
crashes
sort of
on lap 10. Yeah, whatever it was, lap 40, William Byron, he's out of the freaking race, and he ends up winning the thing. Talk about a heck of a... And Fords, you want to talk about, to me, qualify 8 of the top 10. They're leading the thing. They're, it's a Ford brigade up front. And by the way, it's Ford brigade, and they're not playing nice with each other. Teammates weren't.
I'll tell you, Blaney leaving Logano, and then you had Buescher leaving Keselowski.
Cindric, and they were blocking each other and crossing deals.
But they were occupying all the front spaces.
Yeah, but they let Toyotas and Chevys in there because of it, and they were not playing nice with each other. And in the end, what floats back to the top?
Well, what floats back to the top is the guy that's got the horseshoe up his.
He's got the Jimmy Johnson. He's got the Jimmy Johnson shoe.
I mean, he's got 4 wins now.
Yep.
3 of those wins, he probably
You say
wasn't the
that-
guy
hey,
to beat.
listen.
But hey, he was there. But I'm telling you now, 70. If we run the whole race, he ain't winning.
Probably not.
He's not winning if
But-
we run that whole race.
William Byron was the winner in Atlanta, and that's what matters is who got to cash that ticket, and he was a 14-1.
Which is kind of astounding considering now we've had 4 races on this new configuration. He's won 2 of them.
And he's got the most wins this season. He was 14-1, plus 400 for a top 3. Heck of a return for a top 3. Group B was 270, and of course Chevy was the favorite there at plus 115. Spin early, knocked a lap down. 4th win of the season, 2nd win, like you said, 2nd win in 2 years. Can't believe that they had him at 14-1. And then for the top 3, amazing numbers for top 3. And honestly, a guy that really needed that number was Daniel Suarez. Needed a good run like this. He was 10-1 for the top 3. AJ Allmendinger, sorry, not McDowell, 11-1 for the top 3. How about that? I mean, look, Justin Haley.
Two top tens in a row.
And Haley almost had this thing, he was battling for his life this whole thing was so much fun to watch. Look at this top 10 though. Kyle Busch, heck of a run at the end. There's Brad K6, JJ Yaley. When was the last time we had a JJ Yaley call on Gone Racin'? 7th place. There's Haley in 8th. You got Stenhouse was there at the end in 10th.
How much does Justin Haley love rain?
Oh, dude, he is so good.
I mean, he got his only win ever because of a rain-shortened race at Daytona. He gets 2nd at Chicago in a race stopped by rain, basically because they ran out of time. And then the rain stoppage here gets him another top 10. And what do they call him for this weekend in New Hampshire?
Another rain race. How about Michael McDowell? You want to talk about? I want to give Travis Peterson some love here. Most aggressive crew chief in our sport. This guy is there's a clanking noise when he walks. This dude is not afraid. He's got his driver. When we look at the standings, he's got his driver in the playoffs with this aggressive style of calling races. You look at the top 10 of our points. There's William Byron sitting there at the top. He's got the 628 points. He actually is the points leader and the playoff leader.
Can I make one more point on that top 10? We also had both Group E guys. We had 2 Group E guys in the top 10. Stenhouse, who I had, lost Group E because Justin Haley was in Group E. I just want to point out, I lost Group E and Group F, and both guys had top 10s that I picked.
No, it's been pretty spectacular.
I just needed to get that out.
We had some bad beats on this one. But you look at the start of the top of the playoffs here, 10 guys, there's 11 winners, but 10 right here. Heck of a battle. William Byron at the top.
Are you ready to concede that we're probably not going to have 17 guys?
Never till the end, baby. Never till the end.
We have 7 races left. We need 6 different winners for a winner to not make the post. Not counting our guy from New Zealand, Shane Van.
I think it counts. First of all, I said.
But I'm just saying we're not going to have a winner not make the playoffs is eligible for the playoffs. It just isn't going to happen.
Hey, never say never. This is an Eric Almirola win right here this weekend for some reason.
That's right. And and we're talking about rain this weekend. You look at the cutoff line though. Once again, Jeff, cutoff line absolutely spectacular. There, I just talked about Michael McDowell. He is tied to be in good by 3 points. Unbelievable what that team is doing. You got Daniel Suarez back in the top 16 with a couple good runs in a row here. Got himself righted. Look at these guys, though. Bubba Wallace, AJ Allmendinger, Ty Gibbs, Austin Cindric. There's big names that aren't in here. We're still not showing Chase Elliott, Austin Dillon.
And another horrendous race for Alex Bowman. He's going to have to win now. Bowman has finished did he finish last this past week? Last 2 weeks in a row, or he was last in Chicago. He was pretty close to last. If he wasn't last this week,
he was second last, 35th.
Okay, well he could see last for more.
But you're talking about 2 Hendrick cars and Bowman and Elliott, and you're talking Austin Dillon, all not even shown on this cutoff line. There are 3 guys that can move this needle a big way, right? I mean, you get 3 guys back. You get Chase Elliott. I still say Chase is going to win. Chase can get himself in there. I think Alex Bowman can win. That moves this cut needle, to a couple different levels.
Which I think is worth pointing out because right now, if you look at it, you've got the top 14 guys feeling good about themselves, right? Because it's a
100-point lead. Yeah.
It's a 97-point drop off from 14 to 15. But let's say
Chase Elliott
and Alex Bowman wins races. Well, now we're sitting in
you still got the 100-point buffer, but then Alex Bowman wins. Now you're in a 4-point battle again between Keselowski and Buescher and a 20-point battle in front of that.
Well,
so it gets tight.
The pressure is really on Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, Bubba Wallace, AJ Allmendinger with these road courses coming up. I think we've got, 2 or 3?
2 of them still.
We got at least 2 left. We got Indianapolis. We got Watkins Glen coming up here in the regular season. So, to me, the pressure is on those guys to win because, like you said, you're sitting there thinking, well, Chase Elliott, you just got to figure somewhere he's going to find victory lane. And it wouldn't shock you to see Bowman or Austin Dillon or one of those guys. But an Allmendinger or Austin Cindric, those guys, we know they're good on road courses. So, And you got that wild card at Daytona to end the thing, and that could be be anybody.
That's right. So
are you guys waving the red flag a little bit on Chase? Because man, that Atlanta race, he was just not competitive.
I told you what 3 weeks ago. I'm going to keep betting him because there's no way Chase Elliott doesn't win in the regular season to get himself in. I still believe that, and I'm still going to be. And you look at these races coming down the stretch. Let's get to the schedule real quick, Jeff, so we can show that. You get to the schedule. You got Loudon with our Crayola Crayon 301. You got the Pocono 400. You got Richmond. You got Michigan, and you got the Indianapolis Road Course. Chase Elliott can win Pocono. Chase Elliott can win Richmond. Chase Elliott can win Michigan. Chase Elliott can win Indianapolis. There's 4 races out of these 5 that I think Chase Elliott could be the favorite.
Yeah, he could. I'm more down on Chase Elliott, I think, than Brendan is. The road courses, he hasn't really done what I thought he would do on them. Now, the 2 races that are not up on our screen right now that are still remaining, we got Watkins Glen and then Daytona. And I guess to me, at least with Indy, Watkins Glen, Daytona being those last 3, that's where Chase Elliott. I'm not sure about these next 4, but I think Chase Elliott, those 2 road courses in Daytona, that's where he might have to make hay.
I think he can do it. We are at the Magic Mile this week. It is that really super flat oval. Asphalt July 16th, 2:30 Eastern.
We have rain tires.
And we have rain tires.
First time
and
ever.
Of course, one of the coolest trophies, the big old 20-pound Maine lobster.
We should talk about Harvick's interview this week about his first lobster.
And 2022 winner, Christopher Bell. We'll come back, give you the odds when we return, guys.
This is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
And the flags return. Wyatt found his flags.
You had your head down. Did you see what he was doing before he waved the flag? He was like the flag man. He was
doing
saying, hold, don't go, don't go. It's like he's putting, whatever.
He's watching. He's watching the flag.
Hey, Jeff, if you need a backup flag guy, at the bull ring, I got you.
I think what we should do is talk to old NASCAR and get him up in the flag stand for the South Point 400, so he could be like, learn how to.
I'd be the first guy to drop the flag ever.
You're not the first guy to drop the flag ever.
Oh no!
Somebody's dropped the flag?
All the time.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know about
yeah.
all the time, but it has happened on several occasions.
I remember Bakersfield get green flag dropped. Watch the flag hit a race car, and the yellow flag came out because they got to go out and get the flag.
Got to go get the flag. Now, at least they do carry a spare up there now, but nevertheless.
And they also now, for the celebrities, they got the
little
they got a wristband now that they make you wear.
Yeah.
So that way you don't drop the flag.
I mean, you could make him the honorary starter for the South Point 400. You probably have the power to make that happen.
He's practicing. I mean, we could see.
I feel confident. If not, I would really love for Isaiah to do it. I think Isaiah would have a blast.
The first year we did it, we had a big player first, Mr. Coe.
I think you do that every year.
Yes, we do. And Mr. Coe was the first one, and we weren't sure he would be able to make it. He apparently has afraid of heights. We didn't think he'd be able to get up the stairwell, and so we had a backup. His brother was going to be him. We were going to send him if Bob couldn't do it. He's such a sweet man. Love him to death. Let's get back to what matters here, and this is New Hampshire. The guys that are good at New Hampshire. And there is one guy, Jeff, that we have talked about for a very, very, very long time here, and it's going to be his 40th race at New Hampshire, and over 50% top 10. I mean, Kevin Harvick, phenomenal.
I tell you, it's funny when you look at the top of the board that we've got here showing on the screen. These guys that have run here so many times, because we used to run here twice a year.
Yep.
Kevin Harvick is over 50% on the top 10s. So is Denny Hamlin. So is Kyle Busch. So is Brad Keselowski. So is Joey Logano, one of his home tracks too. And Christopher Bell, small sample size, but
still there.
Man, pretty good.
No, and that the guys that are good here are good here. This is a driver's track, Jeff. We've talked about this. This is a place that drivers you like because it's so difficult, so hard to get a hold of. The whole PJ1 thing and all that stuff. I mean, it's changed a little bit of it, but this track is so much fun. And how about rain tires at New Hampshire? So, I mean, this could be definitely a place where I like old guard here, but what I don't like is if it rains, a guy like Kevin Harvick, it's like me. he's not looking forward to a rain race on an oval. So then I go back to these young guns, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson's, Tyler Reddick's. These guys are like
Justin Haley.
Justin
we saw what
Haley,
he was able to do in Chicago.
I start to like those numbers on other guys.
It kind of becomes a road course race. I think Austin Cindric, AJ Allmendinger, these guys, I think it will become a road course race if the track's wet. Now, we're not going to race in a downpour.
No.
But if the track is wet,
if it's
light
misting,
rain,
they're going to put the rain tires on.
Correct.
We're going to run it. So
I think it'll be the first time on an oval we've ever run the rain tires. I don't believe
they've tested them. We've had a practice
but
at
I
a
don't
track
think
somewhere.
there has been a race
on
yet on an oval with rain tires.
And let me tell you something. 1 mile at Magic Mile, that's fast. I'm surprised they
It'll
put
be
this
a
on
lot
that list.
slower.
I'm surprised they put that on this list because this track's so slick. Let's get to the odds, though. The favorite right now, last year's winner, Christopher Bell leads the way. He is plus 550. Martin Truex Jr. 650. Denny Hamlin 750. Kyle Larson 850. Only 4 guys there in single digits. Then you jump doubles. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick both 10-1. William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott 12. Joey Logano 14. Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain at 18. Brad K 20. Eric Almirola, our surprise winner a couple years ago, 22-1. Bubba Wallace 30, and Alex Bowman runs out your front page at 40-1. Motley, anything stick out real quick there? I got a few that I kind of like.
Well, I do think the cream is at the top. I really do believe that. The Eric Almirola thing's a little interesting. I don't know that I see him winning twice at New Hampshire. But the number maybe, and I know this guy has really been struggling, and he's had a rough year, but Alex Bowman at 40-1, if you're looking to take a flyer on somebody, he's fast every week. He just hadn't been able to close the deal. And you kind of think that a guy like that, at some point, the stars are going to line up for him. And certainly there's that desperation there. So I guess the one that I kind of like a little bit there is if you're looking at a long shot, it's Alex Bowman at 40, but also William Byron, another double digit. The guy's got more wins than anybody on the circuit this year,
still got him double digit.
And he's got a double digit. So.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Now, I looked at Alex Bowman, not real good here, but you know what sticks out to me right off the bat on this? Ross Chastain. Last 2 races, 8th place finishes. If it's raining, he's going to be an aggressive dude on that, right? And he's probably a guy that can drive it. 18-1 on a guy that just won a couple weeks ago, on a guy that I don't dislike that 18-1 there.
And Reddick also 18-1.
And Reddick 18-1. And Reddick, once again, if it rains, Reddick is going to move right up the top of my list.
Yeah, so everybody wait until Sunday morning, see what the weather is like in New Hampshire before you go put your bet in. Unfortunately, we're going to make picks today. We're not going to help you much if it rains.
Let's get to the second page here. Ty Gibbs kicks it off. The rookie having a good year, 45-1 with Daniel Suarez right there. He needs another good run on the oval. That will help him immensely. Chris Buescher, 50. Ryan Preece, 55. Chase Briscoe, 65. And then a lot of guys here, the big shots. Austin Dillon at 100. AJ Allmendinger at 100. Eric Jones, 130. Stenhouse, Cindric at 150s. McDowell, 200-1. A
guy in the top 16
is 200-1.
And a guy who has got a second and an eighth the last 2 weeks is 250-1. And I am telling you, if it rains, maybe Justin Haley for a top 3 is not a bad bet.
That's what I was just going to say. I don't know if I'm really going to want to say a W for some of these guys, but we get to the top 3s, maybe some of them. I do like a Daniel Suarez and a Chris Buescher. They've been surprising here, but let's get to those top.
There is one other long shot on here, and
it,
it would be a long shot. Ryan Preece. Lots of laps at this track. He's going to run the modified race, which could also be run in the rain on Saturday.
And Preece, let me tell you something. When it comes to this track, very few people in this field know this track as well as Ryan Preece.
Right. So I think that's a little bit of a sleeper kind of guy there. Not necessarily in to win, but what are we getting ready to get to now?
Crunch time, baby.
Top 3s.
Top 3s.
Yeah.
Oh, for us on the show.
Exactly.
Yes, top 3s.
Yeah.
Top 3 start off with our man Christopher Bell at 155, same favorite. Martin Truex Jr. 185. Denny Hamlin 210. Kyle Larson 240. Kyle Busch 285. Is that? Oh, no, that's all right. That matches up. Kevin Harvick is also 285. Then you got William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott 340. Joey Logano 400. Tyler Reddick 5 with Ross Chastain there. 550 is Brad Keselowski. 600 Eric Almirola. 850 Bubba Wallace. And we got a double-digit guy on the front page, Alex Bowman 11-1. Now we're talking Ross Chastain plus 500. Tyler Reddick plus 500. Alex Bowman 11-1. Doesn't have good stats, but like you said. And how about William Byron? 340?
William Byron 340. I probably like that more.
Five starts, no top 10s here. But I don't care. William Byron right now, just what he does is he may not be the best all day, but like you said, at the end of the race,
he's there.
You're sitting there going, hey, look who's back. William Byron. I mean, that's pretty stout.
Yeah, there's no way in the world I could see leaving the guy who's leading the points with the most wins on the season, getting plus 340 for a top 3. I don't care where he's racing at. I like William Byron top 3 here.
I'm looking at that going, wow, that's a big number for that top 3 for him. Let's get to the second page, though, and there's guys that you and I both think might be of value here. Ty Gibbs, Daniel Suarez, 12, Chris Buescher, 14, Priest, 15, Chase Briscoe, 18-1, Austin Dillon, 28, the Dinger, 28, Eric Jones, and then 40-1, Stenhouse, Cindric, both 40s, McDowell, 55, Justin Haley, 70. And Jeff, I'm kind of with you right there. I like looking at that Justin Haley, if it rains, 70-1. I really like that Ryan Priest at 15-1. There are some really good numbers on. You want to take a flyer? I know a certain person in this room that they need to take a couple flyers just to even be respectable.
Might be more than one in this room.
We would have been fine if there wasn't any rain on Sunday.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah,
but
that vortex theory's DW lied to me.
So I'm just looking at this going, wow, there is a lot of value here. But how about Chris Buescher? Here's a guy that all season long,
every week he's around the top 10.
Yeah. So I mean, you run top 10s every week, you get top 5s. Chris Buescher, he's not half bad.
And by the way, he is 100 points or 97 points to the good in the playoffs right now.
You know, and he's been great on this style. This is a type of track that Ford has been good on, right? This is where Ford has been better. This Phoenix.
Well, we got Almirola won here 2 years ago and was the dominant car. I mean, it wasn't like he didn't win because the race got shortened or he stayed out on fuel mileage. He won because he was the best car.
And he's plus 600. I mean, there are some great numbers here for the top 3s. I like. Now let's get into the head-to-heads. This has been my bread and butter this season. I've jumped off the groups a little bit, been head-to-head. Let's start these. Jeff, there's a don't line. Right now it screams Christopher Bell. But how about Kyle Larson is plus 125? Kyle Larson? I mean, look, Kyle's been snake bit. Plus 125?
I was looking at that one and
wow.
And he's even got a plus number on Denny Hamlin. But to see a plus 125 on Kyle Larson, and Christopher Bell's team has made a lot of mistakes this year, by the way.
The Toyotas have been making a lot of mistakes, but Larson's been snake bit, been fast. But man, and I mean, Kyle Busch, one of the hottest guys, 105 to Kevin Harvick. I just said how great Kevin Harvick is here, but Kyle Busch ain't bad either. And he's a plus 105 in a head-to-head.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. There's a couple of good ones, I think, in the head-to-heads this week.
All right, guys, when we come back, I might touch these one more time, but then we're going to jump into our group matchups, and the yellow flag is back out.
This is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
Want to rewatch any part of today's show or any past show for that matter? Check out the Gone Racin podcast. It's free and available now at VSiN.com/podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. We give you all the latest odds, news, and everything you need to know to head to the betting counter before each and every NASCAR Cup race. While you're there, catch up on every VSiN show as well. VSiN.com/podcasts. And the green flag is back out after being told to hold on Gone Racin. Mr. Motley, back in studio. We got our man Wyatt behind the counter talking about Lady Rebels. Apparently he is officially going to be back this year with the Lady Rebs. Congratulations.
They somewhat like me, so I'm glad.
They somewhat like you? Yeah, we kind
He
of
was
like
a good luck charm for him last year. They went all the way to the NCAA tournament.
They did have a good
won
run.
the Mountain West. Yes.
They did have a good run.
Pretty good year.
So we were just finishing up our head-to-heads, and there's one more on that page that I kind of wanted to talk about. The very bottom right corner, Tyler Reddick and Joey Logano. Logano's great here. Let's not get this wrong, right? This is home track, loves it up there. But Tyler Reddick at a plus 115 in a head-to-head too. I like that.
Yeah, it is a pretty interesting one there. And again, I think
a lot of good head-to-heads.
And look, if it rains, pound that one. Pound that one.
It's just like a lot of good head-to-heads. We've had a couple weeks in a row where the head-to-heads were a little soft. This week got some good head-to-heads.
I'm just not. I'm not seeing the veteran drivers, the Logano's, the Harvicks, the Bushes, guys. Hamlin,
if it rains,
Truex. If it rains, I'm just not seeing it being their cup of tea.
I'm with you. Now, how about this though? Let's talk about our group matchups. Look at these numbers, Motley. The Westgate is trying to entice, and they are making me think twice. Group A.
Poet and didn't know it. Make a
yeah.
rhyme every time. But each verse gets worse, so we won't do it anymore.
Oh, why do I have Mr. Deeds in my head? Christopher Bell, 240. Martin Truex Jr., 240. Denny Hamlin, 280. Kyle Larson in a group matchup. It's Group A. I get it. 345. That's Kyle Larson. Hello, Kyle Larson. 345. Anybody? Knock, knock.
It is unbelievably enticing. It is incredible to see that number, but there's a reason that number's there, and I think that's because the Toyotas are going to be really, really strong here, and especially those three ahead of him. And
2 second-place finishes here at Loudon, by the way. I'm just saying.
That is a big number, and it's understandable. Right now, I still think the hottest guy on the circuit right now is Martin Truex Jr. I really do. I know that he didn't.
I think you're just saying that to rub it in that I picked him as the most disappointing guy this year.
No, actually, I'd forgotten about that. But like last week, he was the fastest car at Atlanta. He just kept going to the back. So I don't know. It's a great number on Larson, but I don't think he wins this group.
Let's get into Group B, and this is probably the only one that they don't have a big spread on. You got Harvick, your favorite, 250, Busch, 260, William Byron, and Chase Elliott, 290s apiece. You got 3 Chevrolets and 1 Ford, and I've talked about how the Fords are really good at this sort of place. Chevys are, when we get to the prop bet, are not your favorite for the first time, and I can't remember how long. So it's 3 Chevys and a Ford. Kevin Harvick, 250. I kind of like the favorite.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what else I like about this group right here. That guy who's got 4
wins is your dog,
leading the points, and he's plus 290
yeah.
in Group B. He's usually in Group A this year. I really do like
your
William
points
Byron.
leader, your most wins on the season,
Yeah.
your all these things.
And you're going to give me 290 juice
in
on
Group
that?
B.
Yeah.
All right, I can't disagree with you on that one. This one's tough. I think I can make an argument for. I told you I'm going to keep betting Chase because he's going to win. I got Kyle Busch. I can make an argument for each one. This one's the toughest one for me, Group B, and there's no enticement to go anywhere because they're all pretty tight. Group C, you lead off with Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain are your co-favorites at 230, and then how about this? Joey Logano is 320 and Tyler Reddick is 330. Motley.
Well, so let me get this straight. Now, we're all loving these Toyotas over there in Group A.
Yeah.
And Tyler Reddick, what's he drive?
Let me check. I think it's Toyota.
Yeah, and he's getting a plus 330. Let's put this. I like Tyler Reddick at 330 in Group C better than I like Kyle Larson at 345 in Group A.
You know, Joey Logano's got 7 top 10s in the last 10 races here. You know, he's the other dog, 320. And I picked Ross Chastain start of the show. I said, you got a guy for a top 3 in Ross Chastain. This guy, you know, you never know what he's going to get for you. Man, but Tyler Reddick, 330 on the Toyota theory. The Toyotas are the favorite this week, and you're telling me the biggest dog is Joey Logano, who's held that lobster twice, I think. And Tyler Reddick, who, if it rains, Tyler Reddick is going to move right to the top of that list for me. The road race skills of Tyler. There's enticement there, and I kind of like Group C.
I'm with you there. That's a tough number to leave out there.
And Logano, though, I mean, just, man, if it doesn't win, Logano's great here. I mean, he's great here.
He is. But look, if you're going to have all this love for the Toyotas, then
why do you have the 330?
Let's have love for the Toyotas.
Well, let's go into Group D, and Toyota love is there. Group D, your favorite is Bubba Wallace, 240. Brad Keselowski, your co-favorite at 240. Eric Almirola, who won a couple years ago, 280. And Daniel Suarez, 345. Eric Almirola, we talked about this, Jeff, you and I, a minute ago. I called it a surprise win. I think it absolutely was a surprise win. But you go back and look at his finishes.
Yeah, I mean,
3rd, 11th, 7th, 1st, you know.
Yeah, and I think he had a mechanical problem last year. Ended up losing some
31st.
laps.
But it was he had a problem. But like, hold on, this is a guy that was your winner a couple years, and not just win. Remember that we talked about that on the show back then. Dominated the end of that race. I mean, like, absolutely was just kicked everybody's butt.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. Look, first off, I don't think this is Bubba's kind of track, and it hasn't really been. I don't think lately it hasn't been Keselowski's best track. I mean, Keselowski, you give me a 1.5 miles and bigger, I love Keselowski. A track under 1.5 miles, I'm not nearly sold on Keselowski. The fact that these two long shots or whatever.
Well, I think the reason is Bubba's last race qualified force finished 3rd, so he had a good run last year, and the Toyota love go back to Group C. You got no Toyota love in Group C big Toyota love in Group D.
And one thing I think we're going to see as we kind of go through this is that the only group that has a Toyota where a Toyota is not the favorite is the one with Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, and
Because we got one more group coming up too.
I just I'm kind of like with you. I am kind of confused on where they got here. And Daniel Suarez, 3 top 10s in 7 races, not bad here.
And he's been running better lately.
And he's been running better again lately. So I mean, can't knock that. But I circle in on that Eric Almirola at 280. I kind of like that 280 on Almirola. I don't know.
Don't disagree.
Let's get into Group E. And Group E starts off with a huge favorite.
And what's he driving?
Toyota. Toyota love continues. Plus 180 for the rookie Ty Gibbs. Then you got Chris Buescher at 300, Ryan Preece at 300, and Eric Jones 355. Who's the guy that cashes most of our tickets when we talk about things on this show?
Mr. Buescher.
And I get that Mr. Buescher maybe doesn't have a great record here, but
you know what? There's a lot of tracks he hadn't had a great record that he's running well this year.
You finished my statement for me there, Mr. Motley. Here's a guy that
you could say that about William Byron from 2 years ago and see what he's doing now too.
Chris Buescher he finishes top 10. It seems like every other week right now. He's running great. He's plus 300 in a 4-man horse race. No offense to my man Eric Jones, who has a couple good runs here, because who did Eric Jones used to drive for? Joe Gibbs. When he ran for Joe Gibbs, he had good runs. Has not had good runs here lately.
And Fords have been good here. You look at the wins Kevin Harvick's had here. We talked about Eric Almirola getting a win here. So Fords have run well here. Chris Buescher, Ryan Preece, both plus 300 driving Fords.
Yeah, I look at this and it screams to me Chris Buescher at plus 300 in a Group E. Our man Chris is back in the lower tier groups, right? He's back. He's down in Group E now.
Well, there's only one guy on that board right there that's in the top 14 in points right now.
And he's in Group E. So I like that 300 there a lot on him. And let's finish up our groups today with our favorite Group F. And Group F has a big favorite in the Dinger. Then you got Dylan at 215, Dylan at 240. Then Cindric 330, Justin Haley 330. This one to me is intriguing. If it rains, I think absolutely I look at AJ Allmendinger, right? Knows how to drive in the rain.
Or Justin Haley.
Justin Haley, they just know how to, Justin Haley's.
He just plays the rain card.
He just plays the rain card well. But when you talk about skill as a driver, I look right off the bat as Dinger in the rain.
But Cindric has raced in the rain in
Yes,
sports cars before. So I probably those two guys. But look, what Haley did at Chicago, again, I think if it rains, it turns into kind of a road course race. And
that's where now
I'll predict that whoever wins this group's name starts with an A. I get 3 out of 4.
I was just going to say, really? Wah, 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 wah. You know what? Just for that, Wyatt, it's worth us making a side bet and picking Justin Haley.
Justin Haley, there you go.
Just to.
I'm going to put 5 units on the line.
This is a tough group, but but there are
yeah.
big numbers, I will say. They get Cindric and Haley both at plus 330. I'd love the fact that a lot of our groups, we've had a lot of big numbers in our groups. There's money to be won in groups this week.
Absolutely. But what I'm looking at is you got Kyle Busch, who is second in points, phenomenal at RCR. You got Austin Dillon in Group F. I'd like the 240 on Dillon just because the organization, this is not an organization that belongs in Group F. You got him in there. You got him all the way down there. I like that.
Oh, I can see that. Like I said, I think this is a wide open group right here.
Gotcha. All right, guys, when we return, we got our prop bets and our picks. And you'll know how we did last week, which will be fast.
This is Gone Racing, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
And the white flag is out, and it's smiling at it. Once again, we're great. I love what we do.
Shouldn't we really get the green flag and get the white flag with 1 minute to go?
No, I think the white flag, last segment, white flag.
Last segment?
White flag.
Okay.
You're asking for too much now.
Right. I think white flag. You can't have too many flags in a segment.
And I are gonna,
nobody likes caution.
You and I are going to get a blue and yellow for Wyatt at some point.
Whoa, hold up. Okay, you said that, but hold up. It's stuck in the little thing. This is the flag that needs to be put for me and you when we go up against Brendan, because Brendan's lapped us like 10 times in the.
You're going to say,
picks.
Listen, I got to have a failure of catastrophic,
You know who Brendan is this year? He is Martin Truex Jr., the most disappointing guy out there last year who has turned into having an amazing season this year.
You bet against me right at the start of the season, and look what I do. See, Martin, I dogged you early, but we're similar.
That's right.
In our
You
styles.
did the reverse jinx on,
That's right.
on Martin.
That's right. Let's get to our last bet, which, of course, is our winning manufacturer bet. Jeff, first time, and I can't remember this season that I can remember, Chevy, not your favorite, Toyota plus 140, Chevrolet plus 170, and Ford plus 220. I got to tell you, I am intrigued with this Ford bet, knowing what they did at Phoenix, knowing what they do at the Richmonds, knowing what they do at. Now, the problem is they've catastrophic failure last week, but I do like 220 on Ford. I do like even the favorite at 140. I mean, it's a three-man horse race, and I'm getting a 140.
I think the tough thing with Ford here is that you see a lot of those Ford wins came from Harvick when Harvick was more consistent, stronger than he is right now. And I think maybe the statistics are a little
Logano,
skewed.
though, pretty good too. And Eric Almirola won this thing, and I just
If that was plus 300, I'd say go for it. Plus 220,
Nah.
it's really not that much difference.
But the 140 Toyota, I mean, look, I've got a couple head-to-heads. I could take 140 Toyota. It's not a head-to-head; it's a three-man.
But you got Bell and Hamlin
I got
and
Denny,
Truex.
Bell,
Reddick.
Tyler, Truex. I got a great. I might be talking myself back into changing one of my bets. I just gave Motley my picks in the break, and I may
You
have.
like to make me scribble.
He may have to scribble this time. I'm really. I'm thinking about changing.
I have to keep an eye on him.
Think about changing. All right. So that is all the odds we have for the. I can't call it Crayola. I got yelled at. It's the Crayon 301. Motley had to explain to me a couple weeks ago that's not what I was hoping it was.
That might be the most disappointing thing that's happened to you on this show.
It's most disappointing for me. I was like,
Mine is that we don't have the Bushy McBush face race anymore.
Bushy McQuackerton Bush,
Yeah, whatever
Bushy
that-
Bush,
whatever
Hey, don't worry. There's an open sponsorship for the Richmond race. There's a chance.
No, they just filled it
Oh.
this week with something. I saw what it was, but I can't remember what it was. But they filled it this week.
Not allowed to say, or
No, they put a press
Oh,
release out. I just can't remember what it was.
that's right.
so-
That's not one of your tracks. You wouldn't be
No.
privy to the inside knowledge.
No.
Take a quick look. NASCAR champion 2023. Not a whole lot right now. I mean,
Chase Elliott's double digits now.
Chase Elliott. Well, he's been double digits for a while. He's been 10-1. He's kind of plateaued right there at that 10-1 number. Byron, staying as your, which cracks me up. He's still only second favorite at plus 600. You and I still both think that a guy like Tyler Reddick at 22-1. There's some big numbers. Alex Bowman 50-1. As soon as he wins one race, that's going to go down to 15.
Yeah, I tell you
So-
though, a lot of these guys though that haven't won, they also don't have many playoff points. So even though they get in the playoffs, it's
Still, there's a little bit there.
Yeah.
Last week we would like to, even me included this week, would probably like to not talk about how we did last week. But if you look, some of the bad ones. All right, two of you had Chase Elliott to win. Chase Elliott was nowhere to be found. That was kind of a bummer. Brad K to win. Pit crew, you're looking great, man. If they throw that caution before the stage end and the rain comes 5 minutes earlier, Brad
maybe
K.
his crew chief had the same guts McDowell's crew chief had.
They
They were on the same pit strategy.
The big loser for all of us had McDowell. We joked that we gave him the Gone Racin jinx. We didn't. He finished fourth. And the Gone Racin jinx still kicked in because third place was AJ Allmendinger in his group.
And I really am still smarting both the Bubba Wallace, feel like I had that one locked up, and then he has to go spin out and cause what was the final caution. And then Stenhouse gets a top 10 out of Group E and loses out to Justin Hayden.
Yeah, and I had Toyota. I'm sitting there watching this thing, with the Fords dominating, going, and I'm out.
Yeah, you and I both had Toyota to win.
And then all of a sudden, Martin Truex and Denny Hamlin come out. I'm like, ooh, Coca-Cola, Denny Hamlin, come on. I got him for a top 3. I got the Toyota. I was like, ooh, I'm looking good for a minute. Yeah, then the wheels fell off everything for me.
Another one that stunk was Corey LaJoy. It was about, I think, 12th when it happened, but
he
Eric
was
Jones,
not
he
running
decided
nearly
to
as well as
everybody.
he had run in some of those
Yeah,
other Atlanta
But
races.
LaJoy is always the guy that knows how to get there to the end, right? That's kind of one of his fortes is be there at the end.
And that's kind of what these kind of races are.
Yep.
And when you call it with 75 laps to go, all
that
that
hurts.
strategy
That would
gone
hurt.
out the window.
When I was racing, that hurt a guy like me.
Right.
Because I didn't have that time for me to get, to my deal. And Brad K, I had him for the top 3. I'm like watching him come through. I'm like, he's battling at the end. I'm like, come on, Brad, one more pat. What? When the caution came out, I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. That just was,
It was that the block AJ made on him maybe about 2 laps prior. He was coming to the front.
He was coming. But so our standings, though, I still have a Can I call it commanding? Is commanding allowed to be said?
No, it's a commanding lead. I mean, you going 0 for 5 is like Shohei Ohtani going 0 for 4. Nobody even realizes it because they're so much better than everybody
Well, here's
else.
the thing, Brendan. We didn't catch you, so yeah, you have the same lead as you did last.
I still have
week.
the same lead, and you did not lose any to Jeff this week, nor
That's
did
true.
you gain.
He didn't gain his 1/10 of a point.
That's
that
right.
he's been
Hey,
gaining.
listen, the death by 1,000 cuts, right? I mean, that's what it was. That's what he's been doing to you. You've been slowly coming back to him. So we still start, of course, first to worst or worst to first, and that means we lead the way as usual this season. We just need to give that spot to the pit crew.
All right, this is the week. I've been saying it for about 5 weeks in a row, but I feel it this week because Martin Truex Jr. is going to win the race. We got him at plus 650. Should have won it last year when he picked it, so redemption. We like the Kyle Busch over Kevin Harvick matchup, plus 105. I'm still bitter about Brad losing last week, so I'm going to pick him this week to win Group D, plus 240. The man who cashes all the tickets for us, Chris Buescher, to win Group E, plus 300. And I like the Toyota to win, plus 140.
You know what just happened?
I just got mad. I just scratched out two, and now I'm like,
But you also realize that since I know your picks already, since we've written them down, and I know my picks, we have just thrown the jinx on our favorite guy. Thank you, pit crew. You didn't have to pick Chris Buescher, but it is what it is. All right, my picks this week, I'm going William Byron for a top 3, and then the rest of my picks, I'm going into the groups. I'm going Martin Truex Jr. in Group A. I'm going William Byron in Group B. I'm going Tyler Reddick in Group C, and the jinx, the kiss of death on Chris Buescher in Group E.
see, now I'm sticking with Chris Buescher. I don't care, but I'm still torn. Do I take the William Byron or do I go? But I scratched it out before your picks came on the screen. I scratched out William Byron and was going to the Toyota, and now I see them with the Toyota, and I'm like, they've been so bad at picking that it's like I almost want to just jump off anything
We ought
they
to
have.
get off the Buescher one so we don't jinx him.
And if I have two of them with them, I'm like,
We won last year, so we weren't that bad at picking.
All right, my picks.
Are you changing them? I just want to be prepared since I do write your picks down over here.
All right, I want this with an asterisk. I can't have two picks the same as the pit crew because they've been horrible. So I'm sticking with William Byron as my top 3. I'm going to match you, Mr. Motley, even though you haven't been much better. Then I'm going into the head-to-heads, and I am taking Kyle Larson at plus 125 over Christopher Bell. And I am taking Kevin Harvick at plus 130 over Marty Truex Jr. in one of his real home tracks. Then I have 2 group matchups. I am going against the Group C pick for you. I'm going to go head-to-head with you. I've got Logano in Group C, and I'm taking Group E, the man that cashes our tickets, not the kiss of death. We got you, Chris. I promise you. You're going to pull through for us at plus 300 in Group E.
You know what? There should have been a head-to-head between Truex and Logano since they are the guys who it is kind of really their home tracks.
Yeah, but
I mean, Truex has got 10 home tracks, maybe 12. Logano kind of has
16.
2. He takes New Hampshire and Atlanta since he was born in New England and then he grew up in
Well,
Atlanta.
if Truex decides to race on the Tony Stewart Racing League, he'd have like 30 hometown tracks. They're
Yeah,
all on the
because
East
I
Coast.
think, you've got,
Stafford.
well, they're going to be racing in Connecticut tonight. They've
Yep.
got a race in Michigan. They're going to be racing in Virginia. We're racing in Indiana. Where else are they racing? I can't even remember.
All Martin Truex home tracks. Hey, and we got to talk about the Stafford race because apparently, once again, everybody's stealing my money.
Yeah, there's going to be a South Point car out there. And
2 South Point cars.
yeah, 2
two.
South Point cars. And the guy who kind of helps run the South Point didn't even know about it.
Is either of them got me driving them? No. Of course, my dad likes Kevin better and Ryan better. And there's South Point on the wall at Stafford Speedway. So
Maybe they'd ask nicer. I don't know. So, yeah, that's ESPN for the next 6 weeks. They get the SRX. We're not going to be putting any lines on SRX.
in the contract, it says that if either guy can't race, I'm in. So Kevin, Ryan, you might want a food tester. I'm just saying.
If anybody hears about a mugging of either one of those guys, we've got a suspect right here.
All right,
if
guys.
anyone gets Ryan Newman, I don't believe that one.
I can get him. I can take him. All right, guys, that's our show this week. Thanks for joining us, Gone Racin'. We'll be back next week. We break down New Hampshire, and we head to, what do we got, Richmond? Oh, Pocono, Long Pond next week.
Okay.
See you guys next week. Check your flags out.